Okay. Yeah. So, very good afternoon. I welcome you all to this live session of the course Thermal Engineering Basic and Applied. In this session, I would like to discuss with you all if you have any questions and doubts. You all know that the session is limited to only 1 hour. So I would like to request you all to post your question in the chat box. The course Thermal Engineering Basic and Applied is an important core course to the students of mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, chemical engineering, civil engineering, power engineering. So in this course, we have discussed about several modules, starting from basics of thermodynamics. And thereafter, we have discussed about several thermal systems and their operational principle, thermodynamical aspects, and we have solved a few numerical problems to illustrate the conceptual part. We welcome all the students who have registered to this course and joined this session. I request you all to post your question in the chat box, which will help me to start our discussion now. The course Thermal Engineering Basic and Applied is an important core course to the students, precisely undergraduate students of several engineering disciplines. In this course, we have discussed about a few modules, and in all these modules, we have discussed about several thermal systems. We have solved a few numerical problems to illustrate the description of theoretical part. This session is limited to only 1 hour. So I would like to request all the learners who have joined this session to post your question in the chat box. In this course, we have also recapitulated our understanding of thermodynamics. As such, we have discussed about both first and second laws of thermodynamics, combined laws of thermodynamics. Most importantly, we have discussed about several thermodynamic processes, and we have discussed to map several thermodynamic processes in several planes, rather thermodynamic planes. Our discussion on the mapping of processes on several thermodynamics planes is very much important to understand the processes, rather energy interaction between system and surroundings, and understanding of several processes and mapping all those processes in thermodynamic planes is required to estimate thermal efficiency of several systems as well. We have discussed this part in this course, rather in the very first module of this course. Thereafter, we have discussed several other modules like steam power module, then internal combustion engine part, Then we have talked about refrigeration cycles. We have discussed about, most importantly, that is several components of steam power plants. We have solved numerical problems almost for each and every modules, essentially to illustrate the description of conceptual part. You all know very well that this course is very important course, rather core course. This course is also suitable for practicing engineers in several industries like power plant industry, automobile industry, and refrigeration and air conditioning system. So the content of the course, rather the content is suitable for the undergraduate students of several engineering disciplines, as I have already mentioned: mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, civil engineering, power engineering, and chemical engineering. And there are students from automobile engineering as well. So in this course, we have discussed about internal combustion engine and gas turbine part. We have solved a few numerical problems, and by solving a few numerical problems, we have tried to, illustrate the theoretical understanding of that particular module. As this course is limited to only 1 hour, sorry, the session is limited to only 1 hour, I would like to request all the learners who have joined this session, and if you have any questions to be discussed in this session, please feel free to post your question in the chat box. Since this session is, designed to have live interaction of the learners with the instructor, I'd be happy to participate to the discussion. If you have any questions, doubts, please raise your questions or doubts. If you can post your question in the chat box, please feel free to post your question in the chat box. I'll be happy to interact with you all. So I can understand one question is there from Mr. Gautam KS. His question is on, he has already posted the question in the chat box. But let me tell you one thing, this is related to MCQ questions or assignments on particular week, which you could not submit because of some reason. And you are asking again to reconsider the submission of assignment. Let me tell you one thing, the modalities are controlled by NPTEL IIT Madras office. I have really no problem, because assignment of any particular week, if you'd like to submit or resubmit, I need to discuss this part with the NPTEL team of IIT Madras. Let me figure out the possibility of resubmission of assignment. If there is any avenue or there is any possibility, certainly I would like to consider your case. So this part is not, under the control of the instructor. Certainly I can understand your point. I also can understand the issue you have. Certainly, you had some genuine, issues, and because of which you could not submit the assignment. I would like to consider this. Let me talk to NPTEL team of IIT Madras. If I can figure out any possibilities, certainly I would like to consider your case. What you can do, my suggestion would be to you to write an email to IIT Madras NPTEL team. You certainly can make a copy of that email to me. Then please wait for the response from IIT Madras NPTEL team. And if I am instructed to do anything on this part, I will certainly do. As you have mentioned that you have medical certificate and exam timetable, please include these documents or attach these documents with your email, and I'm pretty sure that you will get some response from IIT Madras NPTEL office. If it is possible to resubmit the assignment, because let me tell you one thing, this is the first time I can see. I did not have any experience with this type of case. So certainly I would like to consider your request to resubmit the assignment. Since the assignment of week 6 has already been submitted by all the learners of this course, I mean those who are joined or registered this course for writing the exam. So probably I need to change the assignment again for week 6, because that is now open to all the learners. But first of all, I need to know the provision of resubmission from NPTEL IIT Madras. Then only I can consider. I'll certainly consider your case, but as I suggested you, please write an email to IIT Madras NPTEL team with attaching all the documents, and you make a copy of that email to me. My email ID, you can get it from IIT Guwahati website, and I am writing here also. So you can make a copy of your email to me. So coming back to the session, I will tell all the learners who have joined the session to post the questions to be discussed today in the chat box. Since the session is limited to only 1 hour, my suggestion you all to be raise or post your question in the chat box. The course Thermal Engineering Basic and Applied is an important core course to the undergraduate students of several engineering disciplines. Also keeping the mind of several practicing engineers, rather the engineers working in power plant industries, automobile industries. The content of the course is designed accordingly. In this course, we have discussed about components of thermal system. And you know that in this course, we have solved several numerical problems, essentially to illustrate the description of several theoretical modules. The course, in this course, we have talked about thermodynamic systems or thermal systems. So to understand the, performance or to estimate the performance of any thermal system, the first and foremost thing is to understand the processes of any particular system. Then we need to map those processes in thermodynamic planes. Thereafter, we can quantify energy interaction of the system and the surroundings, either in terms of heat or work, and we can estimate thermal efficiency. So, in this course, we have discussed about steam power plant. We have discussed about internal combustion engine and gas turbine part. We have discussed about refrigeration cycle, and we have solved several numerical problems as well. In particular, pertaining to steam power system, we have identified major components. We have talked about their hardware. We have discussed about the processes those occur through those, rather in those components. And then we have tried to map those processes in thermodynamic ordinate diagrams. And we have estimated the efficiency of each and every component. Knowing the efficiency of each and every component in a unit or in a system, we have estimated the total efficiency. We have also talked about design aspect of several components in a thermal system or unit. Then we have solved several numerical problems. In this course, the basic requirement is the thorough understanding of thermodynamics, because if we do not understand, or if we didn't understand thermodynamics, it would be very difficult to understand applied part of it. And that is in the very first module of this course, we have recapitulated our understanding of laws of thermodynamics, because combined first and second laws of thermodynamics is essential to know the process and map a particular process in thermodynamic ordinate diagram or thermodynamic plane. We have discussed this part in the very first module of this course, and then we have discussed several other modules systematically. You all know that this session is limited to only 1 hour, and this session is designed only to have live interaction of the students or learners with the instructor. So my suggestion you all to post your question in the chat box. My suggestion to you all for this particular session is to post your question in the chat box without any further delay. Of course, if you have any doubts or questions to be discussed now only. You all know that this is not only the platform wherein you can discuss or you can interact with the instructor for clearing your doubts, but also there is a discussion forum, and this particular forum is designed to help you all essentially at the end of any particular module to write your doubts, questions to be, responded by the instructor. I hope you have completed more than 10 modules by this time, and hence you know very well the discussion forum or the modalities of the discussion forum. So this session is not only the session or not only the platform for having discussion on the doubts or questions, but still these sessions are designed only to have interactions between the student and instructor. As this session is limited to only 1 hour, my suggestion to you all is to post your question in the chat box. Until now, I have not received any question to be discussed in today's session. I will be waiting another few minutes, and if there is no questions to be discussed, I would like to wrap up the session for the day. You all know that this course, Thermal Engineering Basic and Applied, is an important core course to the undergraduate students of many engineering disciplines. Also, this course is an elective course of a few engineering disciplines. Considering all these in mind, rather considering the students of several engineering disciplines, also keeping in mind the need of practicing engineers who are working in power plant industries, automobile industries, the content of the course are designed accordingly. In this course, we have discussed about laws of thermodynamics, that is the fundamental part. We have discussed about several processes like constant volume process, constant pressure process, isothermal process, and many other processes. If we need to identify any particular process that occurs in a system or in a unit, how can we identify the process? And then if we need to map the particular process, which is very, very important to know the efficiency of that particular unit or system. And these aspects have been discussed in the very beginning module of this course. Thereafter, we had discussed systematically several components like steam power unit or cycles, then IC engine and gas turbine module, refrigeration module, and in all these modules, we have discussed theoretical part to illustrate the understanding of theoretical part. We have solved a few numerical problems as well. by solving a few numerical problems, we had tried to illustrate the description of theoretical part of each and every module. As I said you that this session is limited to only 1 hour, I would like to ask you all to post your question in the chat box without any further delay. This session is kept or designed only to have live interaction between the students and the instructor. So it would be nice, or I welcome you all to participate in this session and raise your questions or doubts if you have any to be discussed. This is not only the platform for clearing your doubts. You all know by this time that for each and every module, rather for each and every week, you have an opportunity to write your doubts, questions to be discussed in the discussion forum. And your questions or doubts will be well taken, and we shall be happy to respond to your questions. So please post your question in the chat box. Until now, I didn't get any questions to be discussed, or I didn't get any response from the students or learners. I'll be waiting here for a few minutes more. And if I do not receive any doubts or any questions to be discussed, I'd like to wrap up the session for the day. I hope in all the modules of this course, you have understood the theoretical part. Thereafter, you have solved numerical problems. You had to submit assignments, and all these, parts helped you to understand the module without any difficulty. I have tried to solve several numerical problems, including, problems from basic thermodynamic cycles. Then I have also solved a few problems from boilers, then steam turbines. Then we have solved a few problems from the module of internal combustion engine and gas turbine. And by solving those problems, I have tried to make you understand about the theoretical part, which is necessary to estimate the performance of any particular system. As I said you that this session is limited to only 1 hour, and you can post your question in the chat box to be discussed. This is not only the session wherein you can post your question. You all know that there is a provision of posting your doubt question in the discussion forum. Your questions and doubts will be well taken, and we shall be happy to give response to your queries. As I said you that I didn't receive any questions to be discussed in today's session, and if I do not receive any more questions, then I would like to wrap up the session for the day. The session is limited to only 1 hour. So my request you all to post your question in the chat box. I shall be waiting for another 2 minutes. And if I do not receive any questions from the learners, I shall be closing the session for the day. I have received one question related to resubmission of a particular assignment, and I have responded to the best of my understanding to the learner. And if there is a provision of resubmission of the assignment, I shall be happy to consider. In this session, we have solved several numerical problems. You all know very well that solving numerical problems only, we can clear our doubts, we can develop confidence, to understand the questions, to understand the theoretical part. I have received one question. Air and gas. The question is, air and gas compressors, vapor and gas power cycles, concept of regeneration and reheat, IC engine, air standard auto, diesel and dual cycle. Application power engineering. I really do not know exactly what is the question. Yes, because the keywords that you have mentioned in your question, vapor and gas power cycles, we have discussed. Concept of regeneration and reheating, we have also discussed. We have also discussed that processes those occur inside of an internal combustion engine are compared with air standard cycle. And to this end, we have discussed about Otto cycle, diesel cycle and dual cycle. We have also discussed why Otto, dual and diesel cycles are not called as thermodynamic cycles. Rather, we call these cycles as mechanical cycles. So I really didn't get your question. You have written applications, then colon, power engineering, then colon, air and gas compressor, semicolon, then vapor and gas power cycle, comma, concept of regeneration, reheat, full stop, IC engine, colon, air standard auto, comma, diesel and dual cycles. So this is the questions you have posted in the chat box. Could you please specifically write your question? That will help me to give answer. So as I said you that this session is limited to only 1 hour. This is not only the session you can raise or post your questions, rather you are advised to post your question in the discussion forum. we shall be happy to give response to their questions or queries. And I'm pretty sure that by this time you have completed, I guess, more than 10 modules. So again, I really didn't get your question. You have written almost all keywords: turbomachinery, impulse and reaction principles, velocity diagrams, Pelton wheel. Said, is this the syllabus of gate mechanical? So let me tell you one thing. In this session, I'm not supposed to discuss this part, but my suggestion would be to you to know this gate syllabus from the previous year gate curriculum. You can get it from the website of the institute who conducted the gate exam last year. Yeah, what I can see from the points, can I get these topics from applied thermal engineering from your videos? Yes, you will certainly get something, except for the turbomachinery part, because I didn't discuss about hydraulic turbines. As you have mentioned here, Pelton wheel, Francis and Kaplan turbines. But certainly for the steam turbine and gas turbine that I have discussed, that you will get it from the course. Also for the components like compressor, vapor and gas power cycles, concept of regeneration and reheat, IC engine, air standard cycle, refrigeration cycle, all these components have been discussed in the course thermal engineering basic and applied. So I'm pretty sure that you will be getting, you will get some idea had you completed all these modules. Yeah, for the turbomachinery part, certainly you will get it from principle of hydraulic machines. That you will get, because in that particular course I have talked about hydraulic machines, including pumps and turbines. So as I told you that this session is limited to only 1 hour, and until now I didn't get any questions to be discussed in this session. I hope I can wrap up the session for the day. But before closing the session, again, I would like to suggest you all to post or doubt your question in the discussion forum. We shall be happy to give you reply to those questions. And if you still would like to know something from me, please feel free to drop an email highlighting your doubts, certainly if it is technical one. So apart from turbomachinery, all applied turbomachinery part I will get from this course. I have discussed, but let me tell you one thing. If you would like to take preparation for GATE exam, though it is not the right from wherein I should discuss this aspect, but my suggestion would be to consider textbooks. There are several textbooks available. In this course, I have tried my best to give you an outlines. Certainly you will get, or you will be benefited, from the course. I mean, in terms of understanding the processes concept, but you need to consider textbooks to know more about all these components. So since there is no more question to be discussed in today's session, I would like to wrap up the session for the day. And before closing the session, I would reiterate that please feel free to post your questions, doubts in the discussion forum. We shall be happy to give response to those queries. I once again thank you all. Thank you very much.